So I'm going to teach you guys how to make coffee when your coffee pot broke. Alright, so my coffee maker broke, and what I do is I start by boiling some water. You can do however much you want, but I do like a little extra than what I want because at the end there's usually a lot of coffee grounds and I usually throw that out. So I got my water that's about to boil. I got the stove on. I got my coffee that I'm going to use. I use the Bustelo, right? And I also got the old coffee pot, and I broke off the part that the filter goes through, and I'm also going to need paper filters, and I usually use like a metal fork or spoon to hold it in place. My water's starting to simmer, and you can wait till it boils, you can wait till it's like starting to simmer or whatever. So it's going to start boiling in a minute. I got it on high right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in the coffee grounds, and I do it like however much you would put in if you were boiling like a regular like pot of water. Like this is probably about enough water that you would put in for a whole pot. So I'm going to put in enough coffee grounds I'd usually put in for a whole pot. Now I usually just dump it in because I just guess and I never make my coffee strong enough. So I'm just going to dump in some till I think it's good, what I would put in for a pot. And what's going to happen is before it's cooked, the grounds are going to be right on the top here. I'll put a little bit more. I'm going to turn the heat down because it's really starting to boil. So I'm going to put it on medium, let it boil at that. And I'm just going to let it sit. I don't have to stir it. I don't have to do anything like that. And yeah, I'm going to put it on like medium-high here. And while it's cooking, the grounds are going to settle to the bottom. And I usually let it boil for about 3 minutes. You know. Alright, so I just set up the coffee pot here. I've got a filter in there and I've got a spoon in there so that it will hold it in place when I pour the coffee in. I usually make a big mess when I do this, so I'm going to sit you over there so you can see what I'm doing. And I guarantee you I'm probably going to pour this all over the stove when I do this, but that's just the way the pot is. But I let the coffee, I turn the stove off, I let it cool for about a minute, and I'm going to pour it in here right into the filter. Now, I'm probably going to have to use a couple filters. Hold on a second. Because at some point, this filter is going to kind of get clogged. Usually a coffee pot will kind of spray the coffee all over, but when you pour it in, the coffee grounds kind of settle, it seems like, in one place. But I kind of move it around a little bit to let the coffee kind of flow out. Kind of let it do its thing. I'm just kind of using the spoon to mess around with the paper filter a little bit to let it filter through. So once I finished letting that drain out, this is what was left in the first filter. Now, as you can see, there's like a little bit of space left, but I'm just going to choose to change this filter out. I'm going to throw this filter out. I'm going to put a new one in. I'm going to continue to do the same thing, and I'm going to have my fresh pot of coffee. So I'll see you guys when I'm done. So I'm on my third filter, and I'm basically at the end now. I already made my cup of coffee. I'm almost done, but there's like still, you know, a little bit left. I might have been able to get some more out of here, but I ended up just throwing it out because there's so much coffee grounds that settle on the bottom. As you can see, there's coffee grounds all in there. So what I'm going to do is, you know, this pretty much drain as much as it will. I'm going to end up just throwing the rest of this out. And so I've got my coffee. So that's how you make coffee when your coffee pot broke, or stovetop coffee. And I hope you guys enjoy.